Hi, this is Genevieve Stafford Jack, and yes, I'm back another day with another video. I am so excited. Has the last few days been exciting for you? Well, it's been an adrenaline pumping for me because I had to do some videos, upload them, do all sorts of stuff in the background. We're focusing on the mindset shift from being an employee to being an entrepreneur. So if you stay until the end of this video, you're going to learn 6 lessons about mindset shift from employee to entrepreneur. It was early 2017 that I started my entrepreneurial journey. I did not start it off in the best way. I was very emotional. I was done with the workplace and I was ready to rock and roll. I was done. I was just so done. I was over. I didn't save anything. And I'd seen in hindsight all the epic mistakes that I'd made, and that I really just encourage entrepreneurs and future entrepreneurs to do better than what I did. I don't regret it, but some days I just think, had I just started off a tad smarter, I wonder where I'd be. And another level tells me, you know what? You've turned out to be a fine human being, even though you started on your ear. So the very first lesson that I want to share with you today is, many people will say to you, you're leaving the workplace. You are going to come back with your tail between your legs. You're going to fail at entrepreneurship. And they're going to tell you and feed you all the negative things about entrepreneurship. My piece of advice to you is to hear what they have got to say. If there's something that strikes a nerve, I want you to be brave enough and ask that person, so why would you say X, Y, Z? What is your experience behind that? You see, I was not that clever. I just decided to turn a deaf ear and say to hell with everybody. I'm doing what I'm doing. You know, somebody asked me, so what is your strategy? You need to have a strategy and you need to have a plan. And when I look back at things, I truly believe that because we are different people, different things happen to us and different lessons happen to us, and we grow and we learn from there. So there's no one person that is right about entrepreneurship, but I also believe that there's no one person that is right or wrong about entrepreneurship. I truly believe is that when people give you warnings, ask them to share with you their experience behind the warning. Because you see, when I look back and I think, what could I share with somebody? Learn more about marketing, because in your discipline that you're leaving the workplace for, you probably have already mastered the skill, I would like to think. But if you learn more about marketing, it will teach you how to strategically put yourself out there. Because now you have to think as a business and not as an individual. And that would be really my first piece of advice. Learn to become a marketer before you are a property entrepreneur, or before you are a fitness entrepreneur, or before you are whatever type of entrepreneur that you are. Lesson number 2. When you are positioning what you are selling. So say for example, I started off in training and coaching, and specifically around learnerships within the workplace. I love business analysis and I love software testing. And I found that when I positioned myself in those particular things, though, that is where I won contracts quite often. And that is really what I'd gone into, because that was my love. That was something that I loved, but I needed to learn to market myself, to put myself out there. Because you see, the reality of life is this. Where I'd come from, my person that I was going to catch, whose attention I was going to catch, the one I am marketing my business to, is an employee just like you and just like me, right? It could be somebody like a project manager, where they're looking for a freelance facilitator, a freelance trainer. So they're going to be looking out at you. And think about the things that you do, right? What if you are the project manager? You mind yourself on social media. You find this person potentially on social media. People found me on Facebook because of the positioning that I did with my business page. And then they would call me in and we would go through this whole process. And this is how I eventually won contracts, right? What does your social media look like? So you are marketing who you are. So your point one flows very easily into point two, is that when you are selling yourself on social media or any other platform for that matter, take notice of everything else that you also do within social media. I literally had to go and reevaluate some of my past pictures. I had to reevaluate who's tagging me. I had to reevaluate, do I really want to be showing off certain pictures on the World Wide Web? Because that's what it is. You're creating an impression of who you are to the next person. And somebody would say, oh, that is so hypocritical, man. Just be who you are. Sure, I agree, be who you are. But when you are looking to position yourself as an entrepreneur within the business space, remember it would be somebody just like who you are that is a project manager that may just look at your social media and say, that's not the negativity I need in the business. So far, if you find this video helpful, I want you to click on the subscribe button here down below, and next to that, click on the bell notification so that you can get more videos of this nature as I continue through my journey on YouTube. Lesson number 3, manage your money. As a business, you will make a larger amount of money, right, than you have been as a employee. So I want to encourage you to manage your money. There are going to be days, though, that somebody will negotiate you down and you are desperate for work and you'll end up taking that work. But also just understand what your minimum standard requirements are. So here I was doing the most in training and coaching, getting learnership gigs, training gigs, freelancing here and there. I did not forget my primary skill at the time that I was learning, which was property investing and sourcing deals. Because as I sourced a deal, I was able to sell a deal, and therefore it got me in good stead where my money matters. I needed to be very conscious about. Another pointer around managing your money. You see, what happens is when we are employees, we've got this, we could spend on an ad hoc basis. Why? Because the 25th, the 20th, the 30th, the 31st, whichever day you get paid is coming and will be around the corner. As an entrepreneur, you can't just spend ad hocly. Why? Because you may have this huge sum of money coming in this month and next month, and your next 2 or 3 months may be just dry, or it may be on a minimum. So you want to try your best to get to your minimum budget of what you will live by and literally start building up a pocket for months that are absolutely dry. Just think about what we've just been through in this pandemic. We're still going through it on level 3. We are going through a point where at some given point, the world stood still. There was no borders open. There was not a plane in the sky. There was not a train on the train track. There was not a bus on the road. Why? Because we were in lockdown. If you had your bread and butter constantly where you had to be in people's space and you had to be face to face with people and you did not put something in your coffer, where would you have been during lockdown? As an entrepreneur, you want to be a lot more wiser and put yourself in a state where from day one, you are very vigilant about your budget. Point number 4 really is touching a bit back on point number 1. Start immersing yourself in marketing. Understand what is relevant for where you are for the space that you are in. You see, when I eventually got into property investing education, fortunately, my timeline and everything that I did was so about property investing focused. I never had to create a belief for people that didn't know me that I was in property investing. My timeline spoke for itself. With that, when I was able to meet in networking events, people gravitated to me and asked me, can you be my coach? I want you to be my coach. So just think about it. You already know the discipline that you're in. Don't forsake the knowledge, or rather don't forsake the idea of getting more knowledge in that discipline that you're in, but also stay on top of marketing trends. Point number 5, mix up your meetups. Prior to lockdown, I had meetups that went from Toastmasters, BNI, Property Investor Networks. I went through to Epic, which is also a property investor network. And so in there, I was mixing up my meetups. Why? Because in the property investing space, I'm always finding deals. So I need to find investors. I need to hear which investor is still in the workplace that is struggling to find property deals. And I needed to be close to them to understand what they're looking for. What do I have? Is it a match? Right? There's going to be a time when you just leave the working environment that you're going to gravitate to what is the norm. And the norm is I'm going to meet up with my mates at my usual watering hole and have just a moment and just de-stress and vent about all things. At some given point when you start off as an entrepreneur, your mates are not going to understand you anymore because you're still pushing the dollar on Friday while they have done whatever they needed to do, and at 2 o'clock they're at the local watering hole, for example. So I want to say manage your meetups. There's going to be a time that you will need the person that you're going to have a moment with. Go and have a moment with your mates, but also be cognizant of how things turn out for you. Last but certainly not least, I want to remind you again, if you haven't already, click on the subscribe button, the notification bell, so that you can get notified each time I post a video. Are you enjoying the video so far? So before I drop point number 6, I'm going to say if there's anything that you have resonated with so far, I want to hear from you down in the comments. Why? Because you're awesome. And I also want to learn from you. Point number 6. Mind what you are putting in your head. And this is what I mean. Nourish your mind as an entrepreneur. There are going to be days that you're frustrated, things are not turning out the way they should be, and you just suddenly happen to open up Facebook. And then you're going to wonder, where did the time go? Because 3 hours later, you're still on Facebook. And you are not doing marketing, you're just reading about what everybody else is doing, and you're getting wrapped up in somebody else's life, and you're not nourishing your mindset. So if you're going to be on social media, put a time attached to it, right? But you're going to be on social media. Why? Because you are learning from the people that are the marketing themselves in their business the most. And you're also learning from people who are in the discipline that you are teaching, so that you can keep at the cutting edge of understanding and being still educated and immersed in the topic that you speak about. I just can't believe it. We're so many days in so far, and it's been exciting to have actually put this series together for you. So you take care, and I look forward to seeing you in the next episode.